Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel for a very special Legacy episode. This deck brought to you by Patreon subscriber Akia. This is Stormcrow Storm. So Stormcrow is sort of a meme in the Magic community. I won't pretend to fully understand it, but people love this card. And the meme is so strong that Wizards of the Coast printed this as a silver border card in Unstable Crow Storm. So this is a 3-mana sorcery, put a 1/2 Stormcrow into play, and it has Storm. This card would actually be pretty good if it was real, but unfortunately it's not. So we have to work pretty hard to build our own. And the way we're going to do that is in this High Tide shell. So High Tide, this is not new to Legacy. This is in fact one of the oldest Legacy combo decks. 1 mana instant. Until end of turn, whenever a player taps an island for mana, they get an additional blue. So the plan with this deck is to cast a High Tide or two, use Turnabout and Time Spiral to untap your lands, and Time Spiral gives you a fresh 7 cards to cast more High Tides with, and hopefully Time Spiral some more with. So that's how this deck works. Traditionally, it wins with Blue Sun Zenith, or I think Blue Sun Zenith is pretty much the agreed upon win condition these days. But this version wins with Stormcrow, and here's how. At some point along the way, we will use Fae of Wishes, or more appropriately Granted, the adventure spell on this card. You may reveal a non-creature card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand. That's where Thousand Year Storm comes in. We move this onto the screen where you can see the whole thing. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it for each other instant and sorcery spell you've cast before it this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. So High Tide famously takes a lot of instants and sorceries to get going. Like you High Tide, you Turnabout, you High Tide again, you Time Spiral, you untap all your lands, you do it all again, and you do that a few times. So there are a lot of instants and sorceries involved. And then once your Thousand Year Storm is chugging, you're going to get Fated Infatuation, which is create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. If it's your turn, scry 2. And then this will copy for every spell you've cast before it this turn on your Stormcrow. And you'll get that many Stormcrows. And then at some point you'll wish for Nexus of Fate, take an extra turn after this one. If this would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal it and put it into the owner's library instead. So Nexus of Fate, you cast this with Thousand Year Storm, you take some huge number of turns and you beat down with your many Stormcrows. That's the plan. Looking at this list right now, I'm pretty sure I do actually want a Blue Sun Zenith in here, and I don't think we need 2,000 Year Storms. If the rest of these cards resolve, like if we get to the point where 1,000 Year Storm can come into play, I think that we're clear of counter magic. So I think I'm going to turn one of these into a Blue Sun Zenith. And I think that one of these 3 Stormcrows should be a Snapcaster Mage too. So I'll make those changes before we jump into the league. I'm not going to make you watch me do it, but that will be a change that I make before we jump into the league. But other than those 2 changes, we are going to do this thing. And Stormcrow will be plan A every time. Let's hope it works. Let's go make some crows. I'm on the draw. I've kept this perfectly reasonable hand with a Time Spiral, a High Tide, and a Flusterstorm. Oh baby, we're playing against Death and Taxes. Which, I mean, these Flusterstorms just got really bad. So that is kind of a concern. But we will hopefully get to assert ourselves when it is combo time, and this Brainstorm can get rid of the Flusterstorms. Alright, Stoneforge Mystic is fine. Thalia was the card I was really worried about there, because Thalia makes High Tide cost more, and then undoes the first high tide, kind of. So you really don't want to play against Thalia. All right, Brainstorm. Let's get rid of these Flusters. It almost doesn't matter what I draw here, because Flusterstorm is the card that's getting shuffled away. We can start moving next turn. I can high tide with one of my islands, turnabout with the other two, and then that cast Time Spiral, and then we're moving. And depending on what they do here, but we can start operating if we need to. That Wasteland is pretty scary, actually, because I do need red mana to cast Thousand Year Storm. So I might want to slow it down a little bit here. Oh, a second high tide. I think that makes this too juicy. Is there any way in the deck to get red mana if I don't play around this Wasteland? I don't think that there is. So I think I should probably just... Oh, geez. Wow, that's bad. Because that Wasteland actually takes me off the turnabout for... does it? So... Alright, I gotta figure this one out. So if I high tide, then tap the other... high tide with this island, tap the other one. I have two floating. I have one floating for the second high tide. Play this, get 3 mana. So I can still turnabout, and then each of these tap for 3. I could still turnabout Time Spiral. Oh wow, I hate that though. Really wish they didn't have Wasteland here. Jeez. But is it go time? Like, my hand doesn't do anything else. Yeah, it's go time. Let's go. Yeah, this freaking Wasteland. We would just be like running around the block, high-fiving everyone if Wasteland wasn't in play. But it is. First high tide resolves. Second one, here it is. This volcanic island. Gonna turn about myself. If they don't waste in response, we're actually good. Oh my god, we did it. Land. Untap. Alright, cool. So they let me untap once, so now I have red mana at least once. Let me see if I can sneak a Merchant Scroll in here. Because if I scroll for High Tide, I can go again. Or keep going. Like, go harder, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, cool. That resolved. Here's the High Tide. Get that on the stack. They should waste me now if they're going to do it. Oh, they didn't do it. So 4 mana. I can scroll for a High Tide one more time. If they waste me in response, it doesn't matter. Okay, yeah. Scroll for High Tide again. There is one left. High Tide. On the stack. Tap this for red. Maybe I did blow it. That did cost me my red, but I do have 4 High Tides on the stack now. So hopefully I can figure out how to win this game. Okay. Oh wow, they wanted to keep their Batterskull rather than Wasteley. That's gonna cost them the game. Okay. I've untapped these 3 lands. It's a High Tide. Oh, yeah. High Tide again. I think we're gonna do it on the first try. We just need to find a Stormcrow. Somehow that's the sticking point here. Yeah, I think I want to go for the Storm. 1000-Year Storm. Let's go. Alright, that's in play now. Okay. Probably wanna... Do I preordain a bunch of times? Yeah, I think so. Storm is 11. I could Cunning Wish. I could scroll for Cunning Wish. I could scroll for basically my whole deck. Yeah, if I scroll, I get Turnabout guaranteed. Okay, yeah, duh. This is how we do this. I got 10 copies of this fucking card. Uh-oh, I'm gonna have to change my windows here so this actually works. So I want Turnabout. Turnabout. Get out of here. Turnabout. I see. I cut one of the Stormcrows for Snapcaster Mage, but now I can't Intuition for Stormcrow. What a blowout. Cunning Wish. Cunning Wish. High Tide. High Tide. High Tide. Intuition. And I guess Brainstorm and Brainstorm are the last cards I get here. Okay, so I need to turn about before I do anything else. Oh my god, I forgot about this. Same targets for everyone. Oh, baby. Marcus Ewald, I know you're watching this. Please adopt this technology. Marcus is a High Tide aficionado. Wow. Alright, I can just Blue Sun Zenith for game right now, but I think I need to try to find the Stormcrow just out of pride. If my opponent isn't going to concede, I am going to do the cool thing. And I could have used one of these copies of, like, if they were a blue deck with open mana, I could have used one of these turnabouts to tap them out. Like, you can target them as a tap out. I'm actually doing this suboptimally. I could play the High Tides in response and have significantly more mana than this. So I missed out on something like 500 mana by doing this wrong, but it's not going to matter. This is my favorite thing. Akia, we did it. Game 1, match 1. Already done what we came here to do. Just 14 more High Tides. I can't even count this high. I don't know how much mana my islands tap for anymore. It's so much. Untap the lands. Floaty, floaty, floaty. Untap the lands. And one more time. For now. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do not leave this phase. That was almost dangerous. Alright, so 15 cards. Preordain will not deck me yet. Yeah, I just need to find a Stormcrow, and then we can win. Bottom, don't need a Time Spiral. Time Spiral, actually, I guess Time Spiral can't kill me, because I just draw 7 cards some enormous number of times. Yeah, we're just looking for... I'll keep a Fae of Wishes, even though I have one in exile, which is, like, the same, because I could just put it in my hand. That is a thing Fae of Wishes does. Bottom, all of these. My Elusive Crows. Ah, there you are. Now we win. I mean, we already won. This is going to be my favorite screenshot I've ever tweeted. In clicking through the Scry 2 on the clone spell is going to be kind of painful, but I think it's fine. We'll make it work. So many lands. So I'll keep a Force of Will just in case. Alright, Stormcrow is on the stack. I hope my opponent is insulted. Okay, so I need to cast Granted. There's a lot of copies of this coming. I can ignore most of them. I'm gonna get Nexus of Fate and the Fated Infatuation and the Blue Sun Zenith just for good measure, and the Defense Grid just for good measure, and I'm just gonna decline the rest of these to save time. Alright, so I'm gonna cast Defense Grid just to make sure my opponent's not gonna interact with me. That's so stupid. Alright, and then Nexus of Fate. Let's get a million of them on the stack. I would rather build the Stormcrow Storm than take an extra turn that I won't need. And then Infatuation. Let's go. Oh god. The Scry is a beating. Okay, that is enough. I could keep going. I guess I could just deck them to save a bunch. Oh, no. Yeah. Deck them to save a bunch of time. I've made the Storm Crows. That's enough. Now I'm going to put their deck into their hand and kill them that way. Thank you, opponent, for letting me click through all of this. Alright, 1,000-Year Storm, same targets. I am a benevolent god. I'm gonna let my opponent draw thousands of cards. Alright, on to sideboarding. We did it, fam. Didn't even take that long. Now, in the sideboard, I don't think I sideboard, or I can cut my Flusterstorms. Flusterstorm is the card that doesn't matter at all. Like, it just doesn't have text in the matchup other than being blue to pitch to force. But is there something better to bring in? Like, I'm pretty sure I want Capsize in my wish board in case I need to find it. Generally, just all these things are better off in the wish board than not in there. Basically don't have a sideboard and kind of have to leave Flusterstorms in the deck. Is that real? Like, Grafdigger's Cage doesn't do anything. Defense Grid hurts me more than it helps me. I guess I just leave Flusterstorms in the deck. Just every card in my sideboard is better off being in my sideboard. Alright, here we go. Right back in. Same 75. Or same 60. Alright, I got a High Tide and a Stormcrow. That's a keep. All day. Important to note, they could have won that with that Wasteland, or at least made it a lot lamer for me. But I'm glad they didn't do that. So Island Ponder kicked this off. Finding the third land, a turnabout, and a... I was about to say, finding the third land, a turnabout, and a time spiral are all on the menu here, and I did 2 of those 3 things. So here we go. Thalia is annoying. Like I said, that will require additional development if they have the Thalia. Rashadenport's kind of a crapper too. I have a bunch of lands coming, so I can even use the Brainstorm here. It's not the worst Brainstorm I've ever seen. Let's move this game forward. Put back Island and Volk. Then I draw the Volk and then play one of my fetch lands and pass. Because if they're on this Port Thalia game plan, like, really the only game plan Death and Taxes has versus High Tide is pressure your mana. They could have something like Deafening Silence or Mindbreak Trap, but they probably don't have Mindbreak Trap. That's really awkward with Thalia. There she is. And the Caracas means she will always be in play. Yeah, so I'm just going to hit land drops and eventually overpower what they're doing. Now they have kind of an interesting decision of, do they port my island or my fetch land? Because I didn't crack my fetch land, which indicates that I kind of want the card that's on top of my deck. If they do port the fetch land, I'll just crack it. Like, that's not a big deal. I do have plenty of extra lands. My biggest worry right now is winning this game. Like, I think I'll win a best 2 out of 3. But really need to win this one, because I don't think I'll have time for a game 3. Though, in the interest of time, I will just Blue Sun Zenith kill anyone. Like, I want to do the Stormcrow thing. We've demonstrated that we can do it. I will do it every time it is reasonable to do. But it takes significantly more time than Blue Sun Zenith. So if I do have to Blue Sun some folks, I'll do it. Alright, I don't need a second Stormcrow, and I have so many lands that I can tuck this Volcanic Island at this point. I'll fetch it when I'm ready for it. So far, the Rashadenport has not actually denied me any mana. I'm gonna fetch. I don't know if they have Aven Mind Sensor or whatever, but they probably don't. That's not really a card that Death and Taxes plays anymore, but I can play around the Vial on 3, so I will. See if they took the Vial up. No, they're leaving it protection for Thalia. They want to be able to put her back in if I can bounce her. Or if I can kill her with, like, Dismember or something, they want to pick her up with Caracas and put her back in, because that really is their whole plan. Alright, just giving me... I'm gonna wish for a High Tide. And this will start to outgrow the Thalia. I'm fine fetching here. So they're going to want to port in response to High Tide. Like, I'm going to have to commit 2 lands to cast High Tide, and then if they port another one in response, I don't get the High Tide mana off of that one. But basically what I'm doing here is trying to figure out if I can overpower this thing. I don't have a Time Spiral yet, which is also sort of a problem. But if they make the first move on Rishadan Port, oh, they blew it. So I'm going to High Tide. I guess we're going. They really needed to wait to respond to High Tide for that, I think. Or I fucked up. They're both entirely possible. Who knows? But I'm fairly confident that was not the correct time to High Tide. Or time to port. So I High Tide here. And then I can make 6 mana for a turnabout. And I guess I'm just hoping for the best at this point. So get a red in the pool. Turn myself about. And that's what it's all about. Let's see what they got, if anything. Do they have a Mindbreak Trap? Is this the game we're playing? Land, untap. So if I granted costs 5. I can granted for a storm and get storm into play. And then I can cast Preordain. And that seems like a pretty strong turn, at least. Uh-oh. Is this Ethersworn Canonist? Yeah, okay. That's a good one. Alright, well done. So now I probably can't win. So maybe the port tricking me into not being able to do more things was the right play. Alright, what is the card I want to get now? I guess it's Herx. Yeah, Herx does get the Canonist and the Vial both out of play. Oh, I'm done casting spells for the turn because that's how this works. Alright, ship it. They did a good job catching me with my pants down there. So, with Aether Vial, I think they should port me in combat, because then I can't Herc them. If I get to the end step, I'll get at least 1 turn without a Canonist in play. I don't know if that's enough, but it is. It is true. They'll still have Thalia, though. Yeah, I think we lost this one. Good job, opponent. They found the line. Stoneforge. Sword of Fire and Ice. That's a powerful spell. Alright, I guess I just have to Herc here. Since we're in the end step, even if they do have Flicker Wisp off of the Vial, the Canonist won't be in play on my turn. They had Skyclave Apparition. Doing what? Just being a 2/2. Okay, I guess that does present lethal. Alright, and I'm probably dead here. Yeah, I'm not just in the there might be some world where I can navigate this, but in the interest of time, I'd rather just go to game 3 and do my thing. Does anything come in that wasn't in already? Maybe Snap should come in the deck, though wishing for it just seems so good. Like, I don't want to have to wish for Capsize. Does anything change? Like, is Surgical Extraction just to, like, look at their hand worth more than Flusterstorm? Grafdigger's Cage does not stop Aether Vial from happening. I think I just need to use my Force of Wills on Aether Vial if I get the chance, because Vial is really the thing that can catch me mid-combat like that. It's really their only instant speed interaction. I'm going to mulligan this no-lander. I'm going to keep this 1-lander. I'm going to send a Time Spiral into the deck. You generally don't need 2 of those in your hand. Not against non-blue decks. So I have the Force that can interact with Vial, and I need this Ponder to hit my next 2 land drops, and then we can turn about into Time Spiral and do the thing. So Island Ponder. Found one of them. That's actually not good enough. I have to shuffle this. That hurts. Okay, good. Found it off the shuffle. Get some random draws. Deafening Silence. Well, have to force that one. I'll pitch the Turnabout. I think Time Spiral is ultimately more important than that. Bottom, top, Island Ponder. I was really looking for land turnabout here. So Force of Will can fight over Thalia, but I lose my High Tide or Time Spiral to do it, which is like probably ultimately worse than them just having Thalia in play. Okay. And if it's Canonist, I'll wish I kept the Forest. If it's Thalia, I'm glad I didn't. Let's just see what they have. Hopefully they kept kind of a shitty hand that just had the Deafening Silence. Well, they had a Port, at least. Luckily, like we saw in the second game, Port doesn't interact favorably against High Tide. Okay, bottom, top. So I'm one land away from going off right now. High Tide. Alright, Vial, too slow. Oh, if they can't Port me. Oh, they can. Alright, that Port doesn't matter. Alright, let me do the math. So if I High Tide, I get 2 mana off this one, spend 1 on a second High Tide, then I get 3 mana. That's a total of 4. That's not enough. Alright, so if I get Turnabout, then that's definitely enough next turn. Okay. We're sweating their draw step right now. There's no 1-drop they can put in off Aether Vial that I care about, but there's lots of things they could cast from their hand. I mean, I guess that's something, I guess. I don't know. Don't really care about that much. I mean, it's certainly beatable. Alright, High Tide. It's go time, friends. Right, that land is tapped now. High Tide. Turnabout. Land. Untap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's no reason to brainstorm here. I'd rather just have the mana floating. 1, 2, 3 lands are untapped. I still have my land drop for the turn, which is great because that gets me the 1,000-Year Storm. I can scroll for another High Tide. That's free. And then make a wish. Yes. Storm. Get my Volcanic Island. Red. And then this Ponder is going to have to do the Lord's work. I do get 8 of them, though. Alright, Ponder. Fae of Wishes is pretty good. No Shuffle. I really want a Turnabout. Preordain. Can get another look. There's the Turnabout. Okay, now we did it. Do not shuffle that. Shuffle the Force. Don't need that. There's the Stormcrow. I'm going to keep the Time Spiral also. No. And I already have a Force, so I can shuffle this. All right, then Turnabout sets up everything else. And I get 1,000,000 of these. Same targets for all of them. I could tap their Aether Vial, but I don't think there's a 1-drop I need to worry about. Land, untap. And I'm just going to go for the Zenith immediately. It's in the interest of time, like I said I would. I'll probably put the Stormcrow into play, though. If I have the mana to do it, which I'm pretty sure I do, yeah. If I have the mana. Look at all these turnabouts. Alright, so I'm casting Stormcrow. And then Fae of Wishes, granted. I just have to click through all these in under 4 minutes, and I'll be okay. Got the Blue Sun Zenith. Actually, I can just respond to granted with this. Don't even need to click through those. Alright, and then I'm going to let them draw 50 cards 10 times. Let's go. 3 minutes left on the clock, plenty of time. No problems here. GG's. On to the next round. I'm on the draw in round number 2. I'm going to keep this hand. It's got some cantrips, a land, Time Spiral, High Tide. What else do you want? Oh, is this the mirror? That's a joke. I don't think it's actually the mirror, but if it is, we're going to have a crazy good time. Also, I would like to acknowledge and apologize for the amount of aggressive clicking that's going to occur during this league, because I do have a mechanical Logitech mouse, and unfortunately, this deck requires a lot of clicking, and my mic's going to pick up some of that. So if you have aversion to clicky sounds, this is going to be a rough video for you. But if not, enjoy. Shit. The fun police just arrived. Is that okay? I can test this with a merchant scroll. This is actually a huge problem. Let's see what we got here. A brainstorm on top. That's terrifying to me because they will be able to brainstorm a 1-drop on top, which counters my high tide, which counters everything else. So what do I need to do to actually beat this? I guess Turnabout is probably involved somewhere on the chain. I could grab Force of Will to fight over their Brainstorm. Though I think that Turnabout... I'm just going to continue developing my plan. Like, I don't actually have to pop off into their Brainstorm. Like, there's no rush. They need to clock me before I need to worry about anything else. Jesus. That changes things. Alright. We've lost. So, literally can't win. I guess I can get, like, Cunning Wish for the Capsize, bounce the Narset. But this is a powerful curve against specifically what I'm doing. And I'm not hiding anything because I just merchant scrolled for Turnabout. Like, they know exactly what they're playing against. Counterspell in their hand. Ooh. This is going to be tough. I could just play Fae of Wishes and attack Narset a few times. I mean, let's go. Please don't have a 2 on top. Right, they didn't have a 2 on top, but this does turn on all their Swords to Plowshares that would otherwise be dead. Fae of Wishes has resolved. Let's hope they don't have the easy Swords to Plowshares. Right, there's Brainstorm. And getting that out of the way is nice. That gets rid of the thing that I know can manipulate their counterbalance. But luckily, I don't even get to worry about counterbalance till I clear Narset. So one step at a time here, kids. The super shitty thing that's going on right now is that I don't have my next land drop, and my cantrips aren't going to help me get it. Oh, they're tapping white mana. Bad. Bad. Alright, so there goes that hope. They're cracking their Mesa. Oh, do they have more spells to cast? A second counterbalance? What's happening to me right now? It's also devastating. Now, as hard as we asserted ourselves on Death and Taxes last round, this blue-white control deck is bringing the pain for me this round. Okay, cool. I did find something here. I can cast the Ponder just to get some looks. It was countered immediately. Sure. Yeah, Teferi's coming down this turn. Counterspell back up. Ugh. Unfortunately, I do have to play out this game as excruciating as it's going to be because the clock is a huge consideration for both of our decks. Like, I am going to make them kill me because they're going to make me kill them too. And I can't go into, like, game 3 with 4 minutes on my clock to 18 on theirs. Teferi's in. Teferi drew a card. Ooh, Portent. Targeting themselves. Sure. So things I'm interested in are basically Fae of Wishes. There should probably be a Pyroblast in this sideboard. I am a red deck with Cunning Wish. I mean, that would be a nice piece of technology. Worth noting for the rebuild, if you're going to go work on this deck by yourself. There's a Cunning Wish. Guess I have to cast it now because I don't get to do stuff on their turn. They didn't stack a 3, did they? No way, Jose. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, so I know they have Counterspell in their hand, and they have Teferi, so they're going to win any counter war. So what's Cunning Wish going to do here? Oh, they're going to force it. Doesn't even matter. Force pitching Jace. Ooh, they pitched a reasonable win condition. I'm a little surprised by that. Unless they have another one, or they have the Mentor right now. That'll make quick work of this game. There's that Preordain. The only card we still know in their hand is Counterspell. But that's a pretty good one. Ooh, they didn't even plus their Teferi. Interesting. Still can't do anything. Like, even just jamming into the counterbalance doesn't make sense because I can't draw cards. Even if I do miraculously resolve everything, the Time Spiral will just give them 7 cards, untap my lands, and I have nothing. This Snapcaster will beat me down eventually. Yeah, I think they know. I think they recognize how screwed I am here, and that they're just trying to push through. Ooh, playing out long enough to see Volcanic Island's actually relevant, because now I know I need to play against Pyroblast in game 2. Which may or may not have necessarily been on my radar. Oh jeez, they found Entreat. Alright, that'll make this pretty quick. And I can't even turn about them as Fog because of Teferi. Teferi, who, by the way, they did not activate on either of the turns that it's been in play. So I draw Brainstorm for my turn. That card is, like, that's not even Ponder that you can at least look at your next draws and get some control. Like, this is just do nothing, discard 2 cards. I could cast it on their turn to see 1 new card and discard, but I can't cast it on their turn because they have Teferi, so it doesn't even matter. If they didn't have Teferi, I could Brainstorm on their turn to see 1 new card and lose 2, kind of like a bad Faithless looting, but that's still better than nothing if my hand literally does nothing, which is the current case. Oh, wow. Counterbalance Narset. Good to know. Force of Will is going to be pretty important to have in this matchup with all these hateful permanents. And I drew another High Tide. Doesn't matter. I guess I will Turnabout myself for style. Alright, Turnabout's on the stack. Let's see if they cast their counterspell. They probably just should, but I'm mostly just... I would have had to discard anyway. They don't really have to counter this, they just can if they want to, and it's a pretty safe way to end the game. Okay. I'm dead. So I am up 4 minutes on the clock, which was my real plan that game. Now let's see what happens in the sideboard. The defense grids come in for sure. Hello, sideboard. I think I want the surgical. Does that make any sense? Like, that can cause them to shuffle their deck, but I would want them to shuffle away a 1, which surgical doesn't help with, so maybe not so much. I think I have to board out 1 of the Stormcrows. Sorry, buddy. So Stormcrow. Honestly, I think it's right to board out all of the Stormcrows, obviously, because it's a meme. But I'm going to leave 1 in, because that's what we're trying to do here. And actually... Ooh, Stormcrow can also attack Narset. Like, that's kind of like Fae of Wishes. That's kind of interesting. Like, it's horrible, but it's interesting. So I should probably leave 1 of those in. I have to cut 2 more cards. Maybe I don't need all 3 Flusterstorms against this deck. That I'm bringing in Defense Grid and most of their threats. We lost to an enchantment and a Planeswalker, which Flusterstorm would not help with. Fluster basically just helps to stop my helps my Force of Will stop their Narset, is what that does. I also am pretty sure Intuition sucks. I just really hate playing Intuition. The card is obviously great at what it does, which is find a card you're looking for, assuming you have at least 3 of them in the deck. But just against any deck that might have Surgical Extraction in it, that just hard counters and Intuition, and if like your numbers line up weird, or yeah, I'm not interested in Intuition, or at least I think it is the worst thing that is still in the deck. All right, on the play with, I do have a force. I have 2 forces. I'm gonna keep this. This is the type of hand that I'm gonna need to get through their BS. Found High Tide and Turnabout. Yeah, sure. Maybe that wasn't the best keep because I don't have a 3rd land drop. I can Merchant Scroll to shuffle. Alright, I'm gonna have to do that. Scroll for probably another High Tide, or for a Brainstorm. Alright, is it High Tide or Brainstorm? What can Fae of Wishes get? Like, if I do just like Tide, Turnabout, where does that go? Tide, Turnabout. Oh, I need to find the land for that to pay off. But yeah, I think I should probably get Brainstorm, because hitting my land drop's going to be pretty important. Shuffle your ponder to find brainstorm. Not bad. Ooh. No counterbalance. Brainstorm's on the stack. Stormcrow's in hand. How can we lose? Flusterstorm's a good one. Ouch. Yeah, that was an aggressive Flusterstorm, but it paid off this time. So I guess they did just watch me Merchant Scroll for that card, so they knew it was important. Alright, come on, land. Alright, change of plans. Flusterstorm this. Fear me. This thing's gonna deal 20. Get ready. They're just gonna easily Swords to Plowshares this. Oh, Vendilion Click. Nice Vendilion Click. It would be a shame if someone blocked it with a 1/2 creature. So they can check my hand. I imagine this hand... Honestly, anything they take is fine, because I have 2 of the card I really care about, which is Force of Will, and I would love for them to help me hit land drops. If they take High Tide, I can scroll for High Tide. If they take Scroll, I can scroll for Cunning Wish. Or if they take Fae, I can scroll for Cunning Wish. If they take Scroll, like, my hand already has the 3 things I'm looking for. Alright, they took High Tide. Really looking for that land, though. Most control mirrors come down to land drops, and control versus combo frequently ends up in that space, too. Especially when... with High Tide, which is a control deck, or a combo deck that tries to play control sometimes. Please attack. Please give me this trade. Oh my god. So happy right now. Storm Crow saved immeasurable amounts of damage this match. Alright, let's see. Are we just getting Pyroblasted here? And the Trips Turnabout is pretty real. And the fact that these are all 1-for-1s, though, is like, okay, Snapcaster Mage is a 2-for-1. So now they have a real plan to move the game forward. But Fae of Wishes can block Snapcaster Mage indefinitely. So this game's going to get a little weird, but they do still have to win it somehow. And I have 3 turnabouts, so I'm like pretty comfortable pitching them to Force of Wills. There's Jace, looking like a Pyroblast backup. Oh, I'm going to have to force this thing twice. Oh no, it worked. I'm genuinely surprised that card just resolved like that. Alright, let's find the land. Jeez. I'm going to bottom both because land is more important than anything right now. Ugh. Oh, there's a Spiral. Or are they setting up an Entreat? This end-step Brainstorm is weird. That's weird. That's so weird. I don't like that. Don't like that either. Force of Will to counterbalance. They probably have some protection here. Hard cast, Force of Negation. Alright, counterbalance is now in play. And they know what their top card is. But they only have 1 card left in hand. Please don't have a 2 on top. Alright, so they shuffled. They knew that their top wasn't a 2. Alright, they're drawing Polluted Delta, and now the board is stable. There's that Delta. If they have Mystic Sanctuary, they can tutor. Alright, I guess I have to fire this in. Like, if they could just, like, fetch Mystic Sanctuary, put Brainstorm on top to counter this, or they could just have Portent. That's fine, too. Sure. Yeah, Counterbalance, definitely the type of card that can shut down High Tide pretty well. I've played the other side of this matchup plenty of times, and their hand is actually pretty scary. So, they did not shuffle their Portent. I'm going to hold on to the Ponder, at least until I have a little more understanding of... Like, I would like their top of their deck to be a little more random before I start casting Ponders. Though they had the first cantrip resolve in the top deck war, which generally means they're going to snowball now, and I'm going to be stuck under counterbalance forever. Oh, yuck. There's Jace. My fairy. Right, this game just went from hard to nearly impossible. I have 7 turns to figure it out, though, under the current clock. Snapcaster beats. And, alright, there's a High Tide. Right, I don't think they know what their top card is right now, because they drew an extra card with Teferi. Jeez. Oh, I should play the 2-drop. I'll do that second main. Almost forgot. Gotta get my wall back in. Oh no. This is worth a counterspell. Alright, they can snap Brainstorm, and if there's a 2 in their hand plus their top 3 cards, they get to counter it. Oh, they just didn't use counterbalance ability. That's weird. That must have been a misclick. Because now they have to use Force of Will to counter this. Alright, deal. Alright, the board is held currently. Unless they have a second. Oh, yeah, Jace. Jace can bounce, Fae of Wishes. Alright, I'm not going to put you all through this. GG's. Counterbalance and Narset, absolutely crushing. As insane as the round 1 against Death and Taxes was, this was as insane in the other direction. On to round 3. On the play for round number 3, I've kept this hand with Time Spiral and Ponder Preordain. There's all sorts of cantrips here. Looking for those high tides. And land drops, I guess. They're both important. So I'm actually going to top this. Finding land number 3 is important. Finding another fetch land to combo with my Ponders. So I can Ponder, fetch, Preordain next turn and just see a million cards. We've got a Volcanic Island Ponder over there. Is this the mirror? How many times can I make the "is this the mirror" joke this league? What do you think? Probably once per round, I guess, would be the max. I'll continue making the joke until I play a card that's not in my deck. Alright, so Ponder. Oh yeah, found the Crow. Merchant Scroll's actually good. That finds the High Tide or the Turnabout, and Preordain can continue digging for one or the other. Don't need a second Time Spiral. Snapcaster, not the worst. I can pitch it to Force of Will if necessary. I'm casting Preordain when I don't have fetch lands, by the way, because Ponder, like Preordain, you can get rid of every card you don't want forever. Ponder, you gotta put a little work into it to get rid of the cards you don't want. Okay, perfect. There is Turnabout. So I can scroll for High Tide right now, but that plays into Days. I think I'm just going to be patient. I also don't really want to get stifled. But lists have moved away from Stifle in general. At least I hope that's true. If they tap this Volcanic Island for the Ponder, I'll fetch in response. Maybe I'll just naturally draw the High Tide. Alright, so this makes it so if they... So this makes it so Ponder can't find Stifle. The second fetch land makes it so if they didn't play the second land, fetching in response makes it so even if they have Stifle, they don't get to shuffle their Ponder cards the way they'd like to. But the second fetch land gets rid of that line. Alright, I have played around Days for as long as I'm willing to. Missing the land drop here hurts, but finding Stormcrow is always a blessing. I will pitch that Mamma Jamba to Force of Will so fast if I need to. There's another one. We play 2 for a reason. Alright, the jig is up. They now know exactly what we're doing. We were just fetching and pondering. That could have been anything. But now they know. We are High Tide. If they weren't already aggressively digging for counterspells, now they are. Sprite Dragon, sure. That's not my fight. I really, 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 really want to draw a Volcanic Island this turn. Or a fetch land. Or really just any island at all is fine. I'll take it. But I want to put this High Tide on the stack with as much resilience from soft permission as possible. So come on, land. I guess I can start with a Brainstorm. I have some time here, maybe. Ooh. So if I put back Snapcaster Mage and the extra island, where does this hand go? So I can High Tide once, and then I can... This is the Turnabout with nothing floating play. I could die to a flurry of lightning bolts here, but I think untapping with 5 islands to start my chain makes a lot of sense. And I think that having Stormcrow in my hand to pitch to Force of Will make more sense than putting it into play to block. Alright, so I'm dead to Lightning Bolt. Oh, Sprite Dragon, you're so fast. Chain Lightning. I guess I have to force this. Am I still dead if I force? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm at 1 if I force. Dead to any other spell. Alright, I'm gonna reveal my Stormcrow. Sorry, buddy. Alright, yeah, now we're dead. I can technically... Alright, there is a line here. High Tide. And I can turn about to tap their creatures. That loses to Daze, but I do get to untap and Time Spiral if that happens. Alright, so that resolves. I'm gonna let us go into combat in case they have a haste creature. But I'm gonna lose to Daze here. But if they're out of counter spells, we could actually still win this game. Turnabout. Please don't have it. Let me live my best life here. They had the force. Curses. Yeah. We actually win that game, but they had a double force, so we weren't winning that one anyway. Time Spiral wasn't going to resolve. Alright. Turns out when Delver flips on turn 1, it hurts. Okay, so I think I want Defense Grid and Flusterstorm for sure. Snap has... There's options on Snap here. I don't hate Snap. It's just what am I boarding out? And the answer is Stormcrow, Intuition. What else is not so good? You know what? Sorry, Stormcrow. We're playing against Blue-Red Delver. That's the best deck in the format. I'm not going to goof around with the memes. I think that demonstrating we can meme in a shell that can also win competitive games is worth doing. Akia will forgive me. So I guess that leaves Snap in the sideboard to wish for if I need it. Though that doesn't really help me get to the point. Like if I'm resolving Cunning Wishes, I think the game is over. Like I'm not going to need a fog at that point. So can I work the Snap into the deck? I think the Snapcaster Mage is the last card that doesn't really need to be in the combo shell. Alright, I'm going to do that. In we go. On the play, we have the Snap. Easy keep. Keep any hand with a sideboard card. Those are the rules. I don't make them. I just live by them. That's also not a good rule. I was about to say, I'm looking for High Tide and Turnabout. That's great. Alright. Top. Cool. I have High Tide and Turnabout at the ready. And Snap does combo with High Tide. That does make mana if you need it to. I don't know what I'm drawing yet, so no reason to run my fetch land out there. Ooh, the old end step Brainstorm. So I have the turn 3 Time Spiral, assuming my spells resolve. But against the deck with Pyroblast in it, I'm not going to make that assumption. At least not for very long. Alright, so Sprite Dragon connects. I don't want to bounce it yet. It's not even big yet. I don't even care. So I can test their counterspells in their end step by going Brainstorm Snap and then untap and do what I'm going to do. I would like to find one more land so I'm not exposed to Daze at least. Expressive Iteration. That's a pretty good card. Alright, it resolves. They have a Delver. They exiled Delver with that card. So if they have a land in their hand, they get to play Delver, which taps them out of Flusterstorm kind of stuff for the turn. I do like the pressure that puts on them. Yeah, that's cool. So if I can play around Force and Daze, I can do this. I guess I should have snapped this before I took 2 damage from it, but whatever. Okay, so I don't need 2 Time Spirals, and I'm gonna get rid of this Ponder. Yeah, I think getting rid of Ponder is fine, because I want to fetch Brainstorm here in the end step, because I am really, really looking for a land. I'm not going to need Thousand Year Storm this game, because that's not the game that I signed up for. Okay, alright, we're in business. I have Flusterstorm and Force of Will. I don't need the Merchant Scroll. I can High Tide, Snap, do it all with Protection. Okay, so High Tide on the stack. I can Fluster, and I guess I should save the snap to pitch to force. Cast the Fluster Storm. Alright, they're dazing in response. That's pretty smart because it taps me out of 2 mana moving forward. Yeah, that is how you use Daze against High Tide. Very smart. Well played. And then, so I can snap one of the creatures to net mana here, but then I lose my double protection. Is that greedy, or is it? But I can't, I lose the Flusterstorm if I cast Turnabout anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to snap this back. I'm going to Dark Ritual here. Alright, untap these 2 lands. Boom, boom, boom. Turnabout. Untap my lands again. And Time Spiral with Flusterstorm back up. Alright, it just resolved. That's lucky. 1, 2, 3, 4 lands untap. Let's put some more High Tides on the stack. And I want to save the Merchant Scroll. I don't know what I'm looking for yet. So I guess I'm looking for protection and Time Spirals. Alright, that's great. Defense Grid is exactly what I was looking for here. I guess I can ponder. No, I'll use the grid. If this grid resolves... Oh, wait. I should ponder first. Maybe I should have kept that Force of Will to make sure my grid resolves, but that seems like I'm getting greedy. Alright, Scroll can shuffle. So I will take the Turnabout. Grid, please resolve. Oh, it's just in there. That's great. And then Scroll. What does Scroll get now? I guess it has to get... I mean, Cunning Wish seems like it has the highest upside. So I can Cunning Wish for Blue Sun Zenith, draw a bunch of cards, and keep the game going. Do I have a win if I Intuition for something? If I Cunning Wish for Intuition? No, I think just Cunning Wish for Zenith makes sense. I'm gonna Ponder. Because if I could find a second Cunning Wish, is that good? It's tough when, or it's tough for me anyway. If you're a master with this deck, you might be screaming just, you know, the obvious line here, but I don't know what it is. Oh, I could Cunning Wish for Intuition for Time Spiral. Do I have the mana for that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, I do have the mana for that. So I'm going to shuffle this Cunning Wish because I already have the other one. And then, oh, I can scroll for... Yeah, I can scroll for High Tide. And then Cunning Wish for Time Spiral. Just making sure there's still 3 in the deck. There are. So get High Tide. Alright, we should have it from here. And then I turn myself about. Lands. Untap them. 26 mana is enough to do what I'm trying to do here. Yes, give me the Intuition. Intuition. Give me 3 Time Spirals. Yep, 3 Time Spirals coming. And we get to turn ourselves about again. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4 lands untap. Okay, so I get to snap this thing again. So this can get the Blue Sun Zenith when I'm ready for it. But I'm gonna do some digging first. High Tide's great. More mana never hurt anyone. Ponder. Do I want to brainstorm into High Tide? I don't think that... Or is the High Tide a win from here? So I can Zenith myself if I need to. I've lost track of my High Tides, like Moto doesn't track those for you, but alright, so I'm gonna snap this, untap 2 lands, and then how much mana do I have? 50. Alright, that's not quite enough to do everything I want, but I can at least Zenith myself. They have 50 cards in their deck, so I can't kill them yet. Gonna have to Zenith myself to keep the party going. Like an animal. Alright. So how many cards do I want to draw? I feel like something like 30 should get the job done. 25? 30? Yeah, 30 cards looks good. I'm just picking an arbitrary number here. Basically, I'm just trying to find more time spirals and turnabouts, and I have successfully done that. All right, I can wish for high tide, then high tide turnabout, and now the Zenith is in my deck somewhere that I can just zap off with. I fired off that merchant scroll without even looking at the 30 cards I drew, by the way. Just, yeah, that sounds good. Lands, untap. My opponent is giving me a chance to whiff, but that's not going to happen at this point. Lands, untap them. So, what's going on next? I have enough mana to kill my opponent with Blue Sun Zenith. I just need to get it. Good thing I spent that merchant scroll on nothing important. Okay. I'll ponder a little bit. Oh, found it immediately. That's how you do it. And then I'm going to deck them with Zenith. GG. I'll let them draw 52 cards with their 50 card deck, and they are dead. Sorry, Stormcrow, we did it without you, buddy. Defense grid is a hammer in this matchup, though. Okay, so I think that sideboard plan was good. The snap really overperformed. It was worth a lot of mana. So I think that was the right way to do that. Maybe I should have an intuition in the deck. Just having another hit to keep the chain going is nice, but like, what do you cut for it is the problem here. Yeah, I think with the 5 wish effects, that having them in the sideboard is fine. Okay, this is my plan. Alright, my hand is solid. I'm going to keep it. I don't love this non-basic land, but I do love the Flusterstorm. I love the turnabout on the Time Spiral. This can get the High Tide. So if I hit land drops, we should be able to make this game happen. Opponent mulled to 5 so far. So that's helpful too, just being up 3 cards to start. Alright, basic island and Delver. Mulling to 5 can't stop the turn 1 Delver. Alright, I'm good on turnabouts. I'm trying to hit land drops now. I would actually love if this Ponder just showed me 2 basic lands. That counts. Alright, so now I have some lands in my hand. Please don't flip. Jeez. Alright, flipped Revealing Daze. If that's a 1-1 for a turn or two, that this game gets a lot more tolerable. And now I know I have to play around a Daze. Couldn't even reveal Lightning Bolt. I wonder which card actually adds a turn to the game. Is it Daze or is it Lightning Bolt? They do kind of the same thing, but I guess I have a lot of mana. Like, mana can hold up longer than my life total can, probably. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to play the Merchant Scroll into the Daze that I know they have. And I'm not going to bother drawing this Fae of Wishes that is on top of my deck because I'm planning on time spiraling my hand away anyway. So I could just play Fae of Wishes as a 1/4 blocker. That could buy me a lot of time. I might have just talked myself into doing that, especially if they're on the like bolt your face plan. If they play a second creature this turn, that play gets a lot worse, but I don't hate it if they just have the Delver. They have a Brainstorm here. They found the fetch land, so they have 2 cards in hand. I have to assume one of them is still the Daze. Daze is pretty good here. I am just going to take this draw step. I'm going to run out the Volk. If they have Wasteland in their deck still, then I'm going to let them get a target with it. But having this 1/4 in play is a huge deal. They might have to Pyroblast it. Like, if their hand is Pyroblast, then that's actually, like, fine, because that saves me a lot of stress on my turn that I go off. And just this 1/4 body is unreal against Delver. If their plan was to burn me out, this is going to absorb 6 damage. And then they're going to have 1 card left in hand for me to go off through with my Flusterstorm. I guess I don't have the... Alright, I mean... If Daze is the last card in their hand, this is a good target for this. Yeah, this is going to absorb so much damage. Wow. The classic Legacy matchup. Bay of Wishes versus Delver of Secrets. Did manage to strip a Reb from their hand. This expressive iteration is kind of a nightmare. That's exactly the kind of card that can pull them back ahead. They didn't shuffle their Brainstorm either with blue to Delta, so they must have added cards they like there. Alright, so Fey of Wish is going to die, but it is going to absorb 6 damage. And when I'm at 9, that matters. So they can fetch Bolt. Then I get to still be at 9 instead of 3. Yeah, this was a good play. Even if we don't end up winning this game, I am pretty happy with that line. Ooh, they passed. Why? That's so weird. They left the Lightning Bolt just in exile, didn't finish off my Fairy. Do they have Pyroblast? And that's the only thing that makes a whole lot of sense here. Alright, I'm going to grab the High Tide. And I have Force of Will now. I can pitch one of these turnabouts if I have to. I'm feeling optimistic about this game. I think they needed to Bolt Delver last turn. Another iteration. Maybe another sad burn spell will join that Lightning Bolt in Forever Exile. When your opponent's at 9, you never like just putting a Lightning Bolt away. Alright, that one gets played. So they have 3 cards in hand. I have 1 counter spell, and I can beat some soft permission. Though the Time Spiral does reload them as well as me. I just have to hope they tap out this turn. Okay, this is not the Red Blast I'm going to fight over. I'm also not going to pick up my Fairy here. If they have 2 Dazes, that doesn't matter. Land would be a great draw, though I'm not upset about a Flusterstorm. Alright, I'm at 5. Let's do this thing. So they daze this, and then I have the turnabout with Force of Will backup. And if they don't daze this, I just turn about and about. Oh, I can also fluster something if I need to. Alright, so flustering this seems pretty important, because that lets me still turn about. If they have sat on the daze this long, then I'm going to have to force the daze pitching turnabout. Okay, so Flusterstorm with my own Flusterstorm. Target this one and put another one on the first one. Sure. All right, if they didn't hold on to their daze. All right, that just resolved. That's good. Turn myself about. Oh, it looks like the daze is gone. That's good news. What do I need to play around here? Probably nothing. Like, I'm out ahead of daze. They can't force unless they have Mindbreak Trap, which would be an insane card for them to have. But I can hardcast Force of Will if I need to on a Mindbreak Trap. So I have most things covered here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Untap these. Now we just gotta... Alright, the daze was gone. I still have my land drop. That's a big one. Preordain first. Looking for high tides. I'll take a Flusterstorm though. Ponder. Still looking for high tides before I tap any lands. This counts as high tide. Don't shuffle. Scroll. For tide. Scroll tide. I think that's a college football reference, though I'm not an expert. Force of Will pitching daze. This looks like as good a point as any to fluster. So many flusters on this Force of Will. Pitching daze is interesting. Like, either they think it's useless, or that was their only blue card. Does Merchant Scroll resolve, or is there more? Alright, it resolves. Get another tide. Perfect timing. Didn't have to tap any lands to get this on the stack. So I can ponder. Fey of Wishes. Do I want that? Or do I want Force of Will? Fey does get the Zenith. I think I just want the Force to make sure my Time Spiral resolves. All right, I will float a red this go around. Might as well have it in the pool. It's not hurting anybody. Daze, sure, I'll pay. one of my 8 floating mana can be put on a daze. All right, we found the defense grid. Now it's absolutely go time. So I'll lead on that. Kind of a now or never situation with the Force of Will. So I don't have... Alright, so that can resolve. And then we have High Tide. And then Brainstorm. Don't need this, or... I don't think I need this many turnabouts. This is a lot of turning about. Though mana is a big deal, and I have some action. Alright, maybe I'll put back the Brainstorm. And then let me see if my Cunning Wish resolves before I do anything with the Merchant Scroll. Alright, so Cunning Wish can get Blue Sun Zenith. Alright, so I'm gonna scroll for, I think, Flusterstorm, because if I can turn about a couple times here with the Zenith. Oh yeah. Put back this, and I guess I can tuck the Zenith here, but Zenith is better than Time Spiral right now. I could do both. Yeah, I'll just float the Spiral on top. And we found a High Tide. That's what I was really looking for. Float a red, just in case. Land, untap. Turn about again. Land, untap. I do actually have enough to deck them. And if this resolves, I win. And if they counter it, I still have Time Spiral on top. Yeah, I guess I should just go for them. All right. I'm going to let them draw 48 cards, which is one more than is currently in their deck. They need 2 Force of Wills to beat this. All right, we did it. Defeated Blue-Red Delver. Best deck in the format. Not anymore. Stormcrow Storm marches on. On the play in round number 4. I've kept this hand that has the Time Spiral and the Scroll. Now I'm just looking for Turnabout or High Tide. I found High Tide right away. I'm gonna put it second in case they're a discard deck. I would prefer to have High Tide in my hand over other options here. Once Upon a Time. Ooh, I hope this is not a Chalice of the Void deck. Right, it's a Thalia deck. We can do that. We've done it before. Hierarch, Thalia, sure. Like a bunch of Bant shit happening. So I should probably scroll now while the getting's good. That's going to be a 3 mana spell in the future. I'm going to need the Turnabout eventually. Yeah, I guess I scroll for Turnabout now. And then I can use my cantrips to hit land drops, and then High Tide plus Turnabout into Time Spiral is... I just need enough lands to pull ahead of this Thalia when I go for my Turnabout and my Spiral. It's good to know about the Thalia, though. Like, if I didn't see it coming, I might have made a different decision there. There she is. Opponent's probably pretty happy with themselves. I guess I could have scrolled for Force of Will if I thought that Thalia was a huge problem. I'm just not convinced that's true. I do need to find a land drop this turn, though. And I don't mean this Volcanic Island, because I'm not playing that against the obvious Wasteland deck if I don't have to. Uh-oh. We might lose. If they have Wasteland, this could cost us the entire game, the fact that this land is not basic. Thalia's in for 3. I'm a little worried that they haven't cracked off a Wasteland yet. Are they slow rolling me? No, okay, good. We dodge Wasteland for a turn. Oh, they're just main phase draw card, go. Great, land off the top, please. Okay, so I am still looking for lands here. I need 4 lands to go off. Okay. Bottom, top. And I think I should just put Fae of Wishes into play right now. I can block the Thalia, absorb some damage. If they have a plow, sure, whatever. Looks like they're plowing. Sure, whatever. I guess that is just one less wish in my deck for later. But at the same time, not bad. Had a chance to absorb 3 damage and also just have the Fae in play. Like, sitting in play, you can have the pickup ability later. Okay, so... Oh, wait. I did the math wrong. I teased you. You thought I was going to punt this. I almost did. I can High Tide into 4 mana, but this costs 5. So I actually do still need to Brainstorm. Alright. Got there on that one. Don't think I need another Time Spiral. I should keep the Brainstorm in my hand in case I need to cast it in the end step. But I'm not going to Cunning Wish before I Spiral. So I'm going to hide the Spiral on top in case they are a discard deck. And then I guess I can use the Brainstorm to hide stuff if they're a discard deck anyway. And then next turn I can go off. It is pretty clear from the way they played this game, they can't currently interact with me in a meaningful way. Like, I assume that their hand is removal spells and Abrupt Decays and stuff. Ooh, Endurance. That's cool. Puts all the cards on the bottom in a random order. Alright, that doesn't mess up my Brainstorm. Yeah, I don't care about that. That's sweet, though. Pretty jealous. Love that card. It's too expensive for me on Magic Online right now. So let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6. They can attack for 6 right now. Wasteland is still a problem. But at least I can Brainstorm to try to find the extra land if that does end up happening. Uh-oh. Looks like a green Sun Zenith. Oh, geez. Is it for Leovold? Maybe I'm supposed to turn... Oh, no. It's only for 2. Oh, is it for Teague? Jeez. That's bad. Okay. At least Cunning Wish is on top of my deck. But does that help me? I think it's too late. Wow. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they have enough damage over there. So I need the Cunning Wish. Don't need the Time Spiral. Don't need the Ponder. So I think I need to find a land here to have a chance. Any chance at all. But it's still bad. Alright, I found the land, so let's do some math. Cost 2 mana to cast High Tide. Then it'll cost me... Alright, I'm gonna play this. I'm just gonna get this into play and see what happens. So, High Tide costs 2. And then Cunning Wish costs 2 lands. I get Snap. I snap Teague. I untap lands. Alright, I think I can do this. High Tide. Cunning Wish for Snap. We get the Snap. And then Snap Teague, which untaps 2 lands. I think that I have exactly enough here to turn about at the end of the day. Untap these 2. And then we turn about for Xaxes, and then we're off to the races. Alright. Now we get to floating. Turn about again. That was tight. That was really, really tight. We haven't won yet, but this Thalia does give us a lot of protection. Like, anything that my opponent might do, I guess it doesn't affect Endurance. They could still evoke Endurance. That just doesn't really affect my deck in many meaningful ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, I have the full 6. Oh, alright, I was about to say Endurance doesn't affect my deck, but it kind of does. Alright, Brainstorm. This Brainstorm does need to hit. Brainstorm didn't hit. And I don't have my land drop because I needed all of them to get started. So I can put back these 2. Yeah, I need to like Brainstorm into Brainstorm. Or, yeah, I need to use all these Brainstorms to just look 1 card deeper. Do they have the Endurance? Alright, they did not have the Endurance. Alright, another High Tide. Not bad. That lets me rebuild at least, if I do need to take another turn. I'm gonna go for it, though, because I know they have Teague over there. Come on, deck. Shit. Our dreams. All of our beautiful dreams. I'm just gonna have to pass the turn. First whiff of the day. I can... Alright, so I'm at 5, 3... I think that turning about their lands is going to be more important than their... Oh, no, it doesn't matter. Because they have Hierarch, so if they go land Teague... Yeah, this actually sucks. Oh, and I know the top of my deck doesn't help. It's just 2 lands. Yeah, we're dead. Alright, alright. Whiffed. The first whiff. Wow. That hurts. Hurts my soul. Oh, that was all borrowed time. We found the miracle, thread the needle, and then still couldn't get it done. Okay, so I like the snap. I think I want it in the deck to scroll for. Like, this whole league, I've been talking about Cunning Wish, like, that's my only tutor, but I also have Merchant Scroll, so Snap should definitely be in the deck for creature matchups. Cutting one of the Storm Crows, at least. What else is important here? Grafdigger's Cage does stop Green Sun Zenith from digging out their bullets. I think that's probably better than Flusterstorm in most situations. And Flusterstorm also interacts with Green Sun Zenith, but not in the same kind of way that I'm interested in. And yeah, I think I just need to get rid of the Flusters. I have Force of Will if I want to interact with counter spells. And yeah, this is my plan. There's a slight awkward Snapcaster Grafdigger's Cage tension here, but it's going to hurt them more than it hurts me. I'm on the play with... It's a Force of Will hand with a Brainstorm. And this isn't the best hand, but I don't hate it. I can scroll... If my draw step and Brainstorm yield a second land, especially if it's basic, I'll be pretty excited. Like, this has the 2 scrolls that can get the Tide and the Turnabout, and then I can force their first piece of interaction, and I don't expect them to have really more than 1 meaningful piece if I can get this going. I could even pitch Fae of Wishes to the first force if I think I need to interact with 2 things. They mulled to 5. I'll take that. I feel like a lot of these non-blue decks are going to have to do that. Once Upon a Time for Horizon Canopy. That's not my fight. Alright, let's just draw a basic island and make this easy. Okay, count it. I am going to Brainstorm now, because if I find Ponder or Preordain, I'm going to want to cast them this turn, or Grafdigger's Cage, like getting that into play. I found the Snap, great. I'm not going to need 2 Force of Wills, and I can send this Fae of Wishes for now. I'm just looking for my 3rd land at this point. I'm going to Preordain first. Found land Turnabout. Easy money. So now I can Merchant Scroll for High Tide and go off. Or I guess I still need the Spiral. Oh, they do have a Wasteland this game. I hope they don't have Veil of Summer in their deck. I could just ignore this and snap it. And Veil of Summer will get me either way. Yeah, I think I'm just going to let this resolve for now. And I can Merchant Scroll, spend 3 for Merchant Scroll, get High Tide. That does tap me out for a turn, which I'm not super excited about. Maybe I played this poorly. I'm willing to believe that. Yeah, this does tap me off of... Alright, how patient can I be here, I guess is the question. Alright, I'm going to cast Ponder and try to hit a land drop. This leaves up... Okay, I didn't find a land drop, did find Time Spiral, but I'm actually just not ready for that. Alright, found the land. So this leaves up Force. I can pitch one of the scrolls if I need to force something this turn, and then I can snap Thalia. Like, next turn I can cast Merchant Scroll for High Tide, still leaving up the 1 for Force of Will if I need it. This might be like me playing too careful, but I don't want to just lose for no reason. Okay, here comes the Zenith Fatigue. Yep. Glad I played it the way I did at this point. Fae of Wishes, not bad. Scroll for High Tide. Guess I have to hope that they don't have another Zenith. But I can snap Teague if I need to. Thalia I can play through with a High Tide, especially with the snap. I'm on a 3-turn clock, or I get 2 more draw steps, so 2-turn clock for me. Snap buys a ton of time, though, if I do just need to pull a creature out of combat. Oh no, they're tapping a bunch of mana again. They have the second Zenith. That's, fine. I guess I need to draw a land or else it's really not fine. Land? So, High Tide costs 2. Oh, then I can snap. Snap costs 3. Turnabout, Brainstorm. Do I want to spend another turn sculpting? I take 4 along the way. I think sculpting for another turn makes some sense. I found the land and the spiral. That's what we were looking for. So, put back probably Fae and the extra turnabout. Make my land drop. Just gotta hope they can't come up with 2 damage this turn. Or I guess it's 4 damage, because if they attack with Teague, then they don't get the 2 exalted. Alright. Gotta dodge our fail rate again. We also just lose to Veil of Summer. So, watch out for that one. Other runes. Okay, just a little too late for that one. And, oh no. Okay, they're Hellbent. We did it. Turnabout on top of the deck. I'm gonna get to Snap Teague with 1,000,000 mana still floating. And they tapped out of their Wasteland too, so I can get the Volk. So get Volcanic Island. High Tide. Snap Teague. Snap the Teague. Alright, we've seen this before. Let's hope it works this time. Get a red floating. Turn myself about. I'm gonna have zillions of mana again, but this draw 7's gotta pay. And untap. Float, turnabout. It is nice against these non-blue decks that you just get to look at the board and perfectly map out how much time you're gonna have. Alright, time to spiral. Come on, deck. Help me out this time. Alright, I have 1 Ponder to make this all work. Wow. Well, Ponder, you're up, buddy. I don't think I need to... I could snap Thalia just to save mana. I guess that makes sense. And it's all about mana at this point. The Force of Wills are actually nice in case they do have some like Mindbreak Trap style garbage. Alright, here we go. All in. Show me the spiral. Alright, found Fae of Wishes. Does that do what I need it to? It can get at least Blue Sun Zenith, and I can draw some cards and do some more stuff. Okay, I guess we're on a Zenith game. Do not shuffle my library. I will play my land, because that's worth a lot of mana right now. Turn myself about. Land, untap. Fae of Wishes. I could really use a wish right now. And if this fairy sticks around in play, I could even pick it up later and do more stuff. I guess maybe the getting intuition for spiral there might have been a little better, but I don't care. Alright, so Zenith for how much? I think probably like, it's currently 12, 13, 14. I want to be able to cantrip into Time Spiral if I need to, so leaving 9 mana lets me cantrip 3 times and still find Time Spiral, and I'm drawing 14. Alright, 14 sounds like a good number. This is, the number of cards I'm drawing is more based on the number of cards that are... I don't care about that so much. The 14 is based more on the number of mana I still have floating than the number of cards I'm going to draw. I think that's probably more important. In losing turnabouts does suck, but I still have Time Spirals in the deck. There's one right there, speak of the devil. And I can Cunning Wish for turnabout. The greatest betrayal of all. Okay, so I am going to wish for turnabout. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Get the turnabout. Played around it perfectly. Can I get more High Tides right now before I need to do that? Guess I could. Or I can just make sure this resolves before I do anything else. Land, untap. Alright, now I can... maybe I was supposed to go for the 1,000-Year Storm before I did that. I don't know. It's close. 1,000-Year Storm. I can Fey. Let me see how much mana I actually have. I have 14 mana. So Fey for Storm doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm gonna look for some more High Tides. Right, there's one. Oh shit. I just punted this. I was not supposed to tap all my lands like that before I floated for High Tide. I just lost like 5 mana. But luckily, I didn't screw it up too bad. 12 mana left. I think I want to get the Stormcrow into play. Is that the play? This is right now while I have it. Gotta get it in. I would hate to lose it to Swords to Plowshares, but at this point, can't help it. Alright, so I'm gonna spiral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get the full 6 lands this time. I'm gonna scroll for High Tide. Oh wait, no. I'm gonna wish for 1,000-Year Storm first. Yes, get my 1,000-Year Storm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1,000-Year Storm is in. Now I'm gonna cast 17 Preordains. Or no, I'm gonna cast 17 Merchant Scrolls. That'll get it done. It gets all the High Tides out of the deck again. And then I should be able to see my whole deck with Preordain and Time Spiral some more. Alright. They believe they've had enough. There was a lot of clicking still to do. My opponent generously conceded that one. Alright, so we've seen Surgical Extraction. The snap was insane. I don't think anything changes about the sideboard here. We're right back in. Turn 1 Grafdigger's Cage takes off a lot of their options. I'm going to keep this, though it is among the more fair and reactive hands I'd ever want to keep with this deck. Once Upon a Time, leading off the game again. Knight of the Reliquary. I hope that doesn't matter. But it's looking like they have the Hierarch again. Yup. So I'm going to get the Cage down before they can Zenith even once. Because Zenith is the best card in their deck. Like, abstractly the best card in their deck. So there's a good chance they kept a hand that ramps into a turn 2 Teague off of the Zenith. And Thalia is also perfectly likely. There's no surprise there. They do have a pretty good start. Thalia is great, of course. This Brainstorm costing 2 hurts. I think I'm going to end step Brainstorm so I can scroll for a High Tide next turn. Though scrolling for Snap, I guess depending on what the Brainstorm gives me, will inform those decisions. A big old Knight of the Reliquary here. But with the Exalted on Thalia, like Knight's not actually that much bigger. Oh, just Found Snap, all natural. I'm going to tuck this Volcanic Island away because they have the Wasteland over there. So I'm going to scroll for High Tide right now. And hopefully they'll fetch Dryad Arbor in the end step accidentally. Just lose it to the Cage. Get Dryad Arbor. Get Dryad Arbor. Nope, they didn't fall for it. Alright. So next turn I can play High Tide, generate 4 mana, 1 floating snap, go up to 5. So I'm 1 short of spiraling next turn. And so this is a 4/4. They can waste their own land, make it 6, 7, 8. They could put me on a 2-turn clock if they really want to dig in. If Snap bounces Thalia, though, Time Spiral does cost 6. Just still too much. Yeah, I think this game is a clean sweep on the play. It's going to be tight on the draw, though. Hardcast Once Upon a Time through their own Thalia. Love to see that. They found Questing Beast. That's actually a little bit scary. That puts a lot of damage on the board. Right now, in fact. Questing Beast, so they can attack for 6. So lethal is on board right now. For next turn. Yeah, so I take 6. And they have 4, 9, 10, 11 in play. A turnabout might buy me a turn. Alright, where were you? Alright, so what can I do here? I think I'm going to end up one short of basically everything I'd want to do. One thing I guess I could do, 4, 5, 6, I could snap during combat and remove some of the damage from play and try to play a slightly longer game. So that sounds real bad. I mean, I'm playing this land this turn. That is definitely happening. So if I pay 2 for High Tide, then I pay 3 to, or I float 3, float 4, snap Thalia, I get 5. If I ponder into Turnabout, I can win this turn. I guess that's the line, huh? Like, I have to snap Thalia and then ponder into Turnabout. And they mercifully tap their Wasteland again. I can't afford to float red right now. I'm probably going to need all my blue. Alright, ponder. You're up. Turnabout. Show it to me. Yes! A sigh of relief goes through the crowd. I find those lines. And I will float red on this one. Spiral. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm going to untap all my lands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not going to untap any of my opponent's lands. Alright, so we're on the Cantrip Express here, which is not bad. Place to be. Bay of Wishes, do you do what I need you to? I mean, all these cards are good. What do they do, though? Fae can get Storm. And then I can do a million Ponders. Don't shuffle. I'm 3 in, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so I gotta slow my roll a little bit here. I think I need another Turnabout or High Tide before I can make my Fae, make my Wish. Oh, Cunning Wish gets Turnabout. So that does at least that part of it. And then, so Cunning Wish for Turnabout. Yes. Get the Turnabout. And then I can cast a lot of Brainstorms. Turn. Land. Untap them. Bay of Wishes. All right, how much mana do I'm just counting my mana right now. So I have 16 mana to work with. So 16 minus 10 is 6. I can copy a million Brainstorms and still cast Turnabout on the other side. Alright, let's Storm. It's a little scary that they have mana up. Like, they could, I guess, technically, like, just disenchant my thing. Alright, I get to Rainstorm 11 times. Hopefully this finds what I'm looking for. Alright, lands go back. I'm gonna see the same. I'm gonna see one new card each time. So I'm gonna put these same 2 lands back a lot. Unless there's an instant that shuffles my deck that I forgot about. Stormcrow's here. We're doing it. Oh, there is an instant that shuffles my deck. Cool. So I can High Tide. Oh yeah, for 12 copies. Put them in. I have 5 minutes to click through this now, but we've definitely won the game. Yeah, I'm just gonna let these Brainstorms resolve, and then I guess I should Intuition for Turnabout. Oh yeah, this makes literally millions. Veil of Summer does blow. Oh god. Did I just decked myself. Oh no. And it's any 3 cards. Yeah, I needed to wait for these Brainstorms resolve. Hopefully I can win at instant speed. I think I might have just fucked this up real bad. Okay, so I need the 3 Turnabouts. Also, just like doing this in time is going to be really difficult. Turn myself about. Yeah, clicking through this in 4 minutes is going to be actually the real challenge. But we have won this game, just scoreboard-wise. I think I can win at instant speed still. Gotta just resolve all these Turnabouts. Yeah, having already used one of my Cunning Wishes, I think I am going to lose to my own missequence here. Alright, the next Intuition is on the stack. I get Snapcaster Mage, Cunning Wish. That's no good. Oh, I think I know what I have to do. So, just 3 islands. Let's get these cards out of my hand, or out of the deck. 3 more of these. Yeah, just clicking through Intuition is going to kill me. So lands are gone. 3 more lands gone. Lands gone again. It's just Magic Online even loading the intuition for me to make choices is going to eat up so much time. All right, so preordain, preordain, preordain. Come on, Moto. Keep up here. I don't even have time to count my intuitions to see if I'm actually decked or not. So I'm pretty sure I am. Spiral, spiral, spiral. And you can't fail to find as long as there are 3 cards in your deck. Ooh, does my deck have a non-multiple of 3 number of cards in it? Because that would save me. Doesn't even matter what my opponent's choosing here. High Tide, Grafdigger's Cage. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 intuitions left. 8 cards in my deck. Oh, I guess I die to the Brainstorm anyway. Snap, Snapcaster, Cunning Wish. This is their chance to mess up. If they give me Snap, I lose. Yeah, alright. I done messed up. I am decked and dying to my own Brainstorm. If I just let the Brainstorms resolve, then cast the intuitions, I win. But because I did it this way, I screwed up. But wasn't going to be able to click through this anyway. Yeah, you can see how this works. You just let the Brainstorms resolve and then go off. But Granted is a sorcery, and I can't cast these spells at instant speed, so I'm dead. That was one of those, oops, I forgot I had 1,000-Year Storm moments. But we can count that as a win if you have a little... I mean, obviously we lost. We don't get to count it as a win. But with a little more experience with the deck, not just jamming your intuition into my entire deck. Also, if I hadn't Cunning Wished already, I would be able to win this game with Wish Wish Snapcaster to get the Zenith and zap them. So, yeah, we can see how that would work. On to the next round. On the draw for the final round. I'm going to mulligan. This one's keep. I'm going to send the Merchant Scroll to the bottom. Yeah, that last game, if I just let my pile of Brainstorms resolve, I'm likely to find the win. I just forgot that Intuition was going to get copied a million times and deck me. So, that game, we had it, but this got cute. So, Preordain, I'm looking for Land Turnabout Time Spiral. I can keep both of these, actually. Having a second High Tide is not the worst. If we're playing against a blue deck, I can counter it. And we do appear to be doing that. This looks like Bant control of some kind. I love that deck. Not playing it this right now, obviously, but do love it. I think this is a good time to just scroll for the turnabout. Alright, jig is up. They know exactly what we're doing now. But I'm all set up. I just need to find a time spiral. If they gem Narset right here, we're done. Alright, Teferi sucks too, but it's not as bad as Narset. Like, I can just snap Preordain in my main phase here and pressure Teferi. I don't think this deck is going to have Wasteland in it. So maybe I should get my Valk. Yeah, so snap Preordain. This puts a creature on the board that can pressure Teferi. Wish I could play it at instant speed, but Teferi, you know how it is. Force of Will, thanks for showing up. I will take this land. Gonna need those if I win the game. So, Swords to Plowshares, Iceman Coatl, a Miracle Terminus, all these things take the pressure off of Teferi. There goes the Terminus. Very nice Misty Rainforest from my opponent over here. Yeah, I definitely wish that this deck had a Pyroblast in the sideboard. I think I could have stacked that better, but I can set up Fae of Wishes for Defense Grid and try to buy some time, or Fae of Wishes for Capsize, bounce to Fairy. So I think Defense Grid is the way to go. Their Sylvan Library is triggering. I'm sure they're going to pay the 4. Though with a fetch land, there are cards you don't keep. Abundant Harvest. Oh, they do have Narset in their deck. Uro, sure. Yeah, so Narset is something I have to worry about. They also have Endurance, which like we determined, doesn't really matter a whole lot against my deck. But it is a thing. Okay, so Ponder is here. I think I want to just work up my High Tide count and see what they're going to do about it. Because I have 2 different points where they kind of have to cast a counterspell if they want to. So I am just going to try to pressure them now before Uro and Library do too much work. So I can turn myself about twice. If they wait for a choke point, like a payoff point, it might be too late. And then, so I can Fae of Wishes right now. If I get Defense Grid, I can actually function, but this is probably where they're going to counter if they have a counter. And then the Ponder can just pay me. Yeah, there's the counter spell, Force Pitching Ponder. Now my own Ponder will easily find Time Spiral, and then we win the game. Ponder, I guess Ponder into Ponder is still better than a random look. This is 2 random looks. Shuffle, baby. Show me the Time Spiral. Shit. Alright. That was my big move. Now we lose. So I do still have High Tide and Turnabout, so we're still playing the game. As far as cards to brick off on, these are not the worst ones. So they did not take any damage with their Sylvan Library. Uro's going to come into play right now. They get to draw a bunch of extra cards. But if I draw Time Spiral, it won't matter. That's the plan. Sign me up for it. There's Uro. No surprise there. They do keep making land drops, which is exciting. Time Spiral? Oh yeah. We're doing it, team. And if they have any counterspell in their hand, we're not actually doing it. But I can try to do it. This is as reasonable as it was going to get. Please let this resolve. Give me a chance. How'd we do? No force? No force? Oh no. They're fetching. Why are they fetching? Just to concede? That's weird. Endurance. Oh, okay. They're just flashing in a creature right now. That doesn't matter. Okay. That's actually great. That taps them out of Force of Negation hardcast. I don't think that was the right play. But I guess if you feel like you got to do what you got to do. And now I can Time Spiral, or I can High Tide twice before I have to make any other decisions. What does Cunning Wish get in this spot? I can't Flusterstorm. I could get Capsize and ship their Teferi, and then that turns on my Force of Will, but that's not actually good. I think I just want to Preordain. Start looking for stuff. Bottom. I don't actually want Brainstorm here. High Tide, another one. But I hope we just outmuscle this Teferi. That would make me so happy. I'm really interested in Fae of Wishes right now, getting Defense Grid. Oh, their islands also tap for extra, so they can hardcast Force. None of these are even a little bit helpful. Guess I can chip the islands, because if my Cunning Wish for Capsize works, then this Force does play. Alright, they brainstormed in response to Cunning Wish. That does not take them off hardcast Force, because this Tundra does tap for 4. Alright, and they can cast sorceries at instant speed. Now they can't. Pretty sure islands tap for 4 right now. Oh nope, they tap for 5. Okay, okay. Now they are officially off hardcast Force of Will. And I think if they had it, they would have put it on the stack already. So they pitch cast it, pitching an Uro. Alright. One more time. Here comes the Spiral. They did a lot of digging for that first Force. I really hope they don't have another. Ah, come on. I worked so hard. Okay. We're dead. 2 Teferi. Easily win that game if we can force back up, but obviously we can't. No problem there. That was a pretty strong showing though in the face of Teferi. They did need like 4 counterspells to stay alive that game. So cards I want here include Defense Grid for sure. I might want surgical. Like if I can clip their forces, that's a play that matters. And I think I want the Flusterstorm also. So sorry, Stormcrow. This is the finals. We're playing for a positive record. I can't mess around with Stormcrow right now. Sorry, buddy. You know I love you. Maybe just due to lack of things to board out, one of the Flusters should stay in here to Cunning Wish for. And oh yeah, Flusterstorm gets worse with Defense Grid, but I guess that's not even true because I don't care about a whole lot of things they have. We have seen Narset in their deck though, which is scary. I guess that's what the Force Wheels are for. But if I go like Defense Grid and they go Narset that I can't counter, that's shitty. Snapcaster Mage is my only real way to pressure a Planeswalker other than Stormcrow. Alright, and I guess Intuition for the usual. Just the usual 2 Stormcrows and Intuition getting boarded out here. I'm on the play with a double High Tide, double Brainstorm. I can keep this. It does do some work, find some stuff. I see a lot of cards with the sand. They have a Forest for Abundant Harvest. They have Meddling Mage in their deck. It's a scary card. Alright, so I can Brainstorm into Preordain here, see a whole lot of stuff. That's a lot of lands. 2 High Tides with Turnabout, that's really good. I don't need to play my Volcanic Island at all anymore. Like, that's just not really part of the plan. Because I'm not doing the Crowstorm thing. This Force of Will is good, though. That gives me some protection in general, and also fighting off Narset, which is something I'm deeply concerned about. I'm gonna Brainstorm, try to keep this moving forward. Snapcaster can go back. And I guess I have Preordained, so I don't think I need a 3rd High Tide. No, I'm gonna fetch here, and then Preordain. 2 is already a lot of mana. I'm looking for the Spiral right now, or Defense Grid. I'll take a Flusterstorm, though. I don't hate that one. So, High Tide, Turnabout does cast a lot of stuff. What does my Fae do? Like, this combo deck is awkward to play because your High Tides really matter that you do everything in the same turn. Yep, this is a Force of Will. I think I have to pitch one of the Tides. Like, losing this fight is just too big of a deal. I want to leave up my Fluster. Oh. I regret everything. Alright, I hope they force this. But I think they would have fought over Teferi if they had any forces left. Oh, JK. So, force pitching Uro. I'm gonna Fluster this. But if they have Narset, none of this matters. But here we go. Fighting over Defense Grid right now. Put them on notice that as soon as I draw a Time Spiral, we're going. They harvested for a land. Alright, that's not Narset. So they're looking for Meddling Mage right now. Oh no, they found one. Come on. Alright, what do you name? Name High Tide. That's smart. That is the bottleneck. So Turnabout doesn't help if I can't High Tide. I think I do want this land because I can Granted for Snap. Ah, shit. Alright, now we lose. Yeah, them finding that Meddling Mage right there, that was bought them the turn they needed to get into other stuff. Now Defense Grid doesn't even matter. Now I guess I have to Bay of Wishes for Capsize, and then cast it with Buyback, like more than once. None of that sounds particularly playable, and I have to do it all without High Tide. Alright, we've lost this one. Now they get 4 extra mana a turn, because every land I play is an island, obviously, because of High Tide. Alright, yeah, we're dead. I'll pack this one up. I've seen enough. Alright, so we got dumpstered by blue decks playing Narset, and we beat Delver. We beat Death and Taxes handily, and I misplayed my winning sequence against that Maverick deck. So we could see within reasonable tight play how that game is just easily won instead. So, and that kind of went how I expected. We beat the non-blue decks, and we beat the blue deck that tried to win with counterspells. What we did not beat was the blue decks with prison elements, which people have been saying, like combo players, if you listen to them, read their content, watch their videos, they've been saying for years that counterspells are not the way to beat legacy combo decks, really. You need permanence, you need prison elements. We lost a counterbalance, we lost a Narset, we lost a meddling mage, we lost a Teferi. Those are the sort of games that you're going to beat combo with, and that's exactly what we saw. We were able to play through Gaddock Teague, Thalia. We were not able to beat the Aethersworn Canonist we saw, but that we beat a bunch of counterspells out of Delver. So this deck has legs just as a high tide deck. I think the Stormcrow, aside from being just wonderful, is a testament to how powerful the high tide engine is. Like, when you're high tiding, this is just saying we can do literally anything to win at this point. So that's the one takeaway from this. High tide is extremely powerful. Pick your favorite win condition. It can even be Stormcrow. I do think this sideboard wants a Pyroblast. There were multiple occasions where wishing for that would have been nice. Cunning Wish can get any instant. This can get any non-creature card. So those are both a big deal. That is the one thing I change. I don't really love the Grafdigger's Cage. I guess we probably want it versus faster combo decks, but whatever. I'm okay losing to those some amount of the time, and we do have Forces and Flusters for that, and Surgical. So I want the one Pyroblast. That makes the sideboard just a rogues gallery of 1-ofs, except for the defense grid, which is a 2-of, because that one is very important where it matters. So that's Crowstorm Storm Crowstorm. That's what I was trying to say. Storm Crowstorm. Also, 1000 Crowstorm. However you want to call it. This deck is sweet. Akia, thank you so much for asking me to play this. I had a ton of fun. I hope you all had a bunch of fun watching it too. Make sure to comment if I messed up lines other than the intuition one. I know about that one. If I messed up any lines, if you know how to build this deck better, anything that you saw that I missed, please let me know in the comments. And while you're here, remember to like and subscribe the channel. Turn on that notification bell so you know when I post new videos. Hint, it's every single day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.